we have to have a little chat because I know you greedy little buggers are still not taking profit. Let's go back. We're going to talk about laddering out today and different strategies. Actually, a really simple strategy. I'm going to talk about, two. This is something we've been talking a lot about in the UIG. By the way, the UIG 4.0 is very close to complete. It's been restructured. There's less groups, less chaos. Everything is easier to find. DeFi frameworks are all in one area. Reports, guides, end of week reports, different assets, different opportunities are all in one area now. The educational portal has everything from blockchain to security to technical analysis to staking to liquid staking to concentrated liquidity to lending, borrowing, looping, all that fun stuff in one area. The investor mindset group is one of our most popular groups. We've got frameworks here. We've got investor mindset sessions here. The last thing we're working on is different investor strategies, from yield on yield to yield on yield on yield, which is an intermediate strategy, to how to take profit out of your LP positions, laddering out, which is kind of what I talk about in this video actually. Snuggle entry DCA in, snuggle DCA out, automated rebalancing with Aperture. We got a pseudo delta neutral strategies coming out. There's a bunch of stuff happening in here. So just so you know, do log back in if you're a UIG member and get familiar with the new layout. It's simplified, nice and tight. And our calls, we've also simplified our calls. Orange is anything UIG related. And we got 3 really good calls per week that we'd love for you to be a part of. Also, our podcast released. Let me know below if you want access to the podcast. You also get a chance of winning $500 just for being a listener by leaving a written review over on iTunes. Do let me know in the comments if you want access to the podcast. This thing will blow your mind. It's 5 minutes per day. Definitely worth checking out. Okay, back into it. A lot of people are still not taking profit. This is what, and I talk to a lot of people on a daily and weekly basis. This was their strategy last bull run. Oh, I heard crypto is a really good investment. I'll buy some. And then I'll buy a little more, I'll buy a little more, I'll buy a little more. Bitcoin hit, whatever it hit. And then I remember the euphoria here. It was like, oh, Bitcoin's going to 100. I think Michael Saylor was like, Bitcoin's going to 250,000. Someone was like, Bitcoin's going to 1,000,000. And people just bought more. And then it crashed. And they felt a ton of pain, but not enough. A lot of people still held. It went back up and they were like, finally, it's going to 250 grand. They bought more, they bought more, they bought more. They had a ton of it. And then this happened. And then this happened. They made off with 0 profits. In fact, most of them ended off worse than they were because most of their average buys were somewhere up here when everyone was in euphoria. And then they couldn't take the pain anymore, they sold. And this is literally when we doubled down on the UIG and on our own investment portfolio because I thought it was an opportunity of a lifetime. Take profit. I think the mentality of I just want to make as much money as possible, and there's no thought around how much do I want to earn this cycle. I know for myself, we have multiple investments I want to make. One of them is a 500K kind of to get into the investment I want to get into. I could get into it right now. But that would mean that I would have to take out some money from crypto and, get into that investment. Whereas I have a very, very specific plan with part of my bull run portfolio that will, as long as Bitcoin goes over 90K, I hit my $500,000 in profit and I'm able to take that and get into the next investment. That's really the velocity of money as well because I get a lot of my initial back out of crypto and get to continue to ride on house money. Then I could take that initial and put it into another investment. Let me know in the comments if you want a video on the velocity of money because this thing changed my life and I try to live my life through that lens, velocity of money. How do I get my money working for me as fast as possible and get one deposit, like one chunk of capital to work for me over and over and over and over. It's a super powerful concept. We'd love to share it if you want it. Anywho, this time around, we had a lot of people who, started buying crypto here and here and here. So let's just say you bought a ton of crypto here, or maybe you bought it here or here. It doesn't matter. The point of the game is not to make as much money as possible. The point of the game is to hit your targets. So let's say you know your targets. You can start setting laddering out points. Now there's 2 ways to do this. You could just set it at, even intervals. Let's just say every $10,000 in Bitcoin, and maybe you believe Bitcoin is going to, let me move this, let's just say 80K. You're going to set your ladder out points and how much you're selling at each rung of the ladder in a way that you'll hit your target. And if we go here and then Bitcoin drops yet again, you can buy it back lower because you've taken profit on the way up. You can buy it back lower. And in fact, you can get to your goal by taking on even less risk because this is how I think about it. Let's say you want to leave the next bull run with 100K profit. To me, I want us to take as little risk in order to hit that target. What happens is people don't have a target, so the goal keeps getting bigger, and they keep taking on more risk, more risk. Now they have more capital at risk, and their losses are way bigger. I want to take as minimal amount of risk to hit my target. And if I'm sitting on profit or my yield farms are earning me stablecoin, let me know in the comments if you're following along. Let's get engaged. If I know that I'm earning yields and then the market corrects, I'm actually able to get into positions and buy Bitcoin at a steal. And then I could change my ladder outs and sell more at the next ladder, at the next rung, because I'm going to hit my targets by taking on less risk because now I have more capital working for me because I got a little bonus injection because Bitcoin corrected. Every time crypto corrects, I'm celebrating because I'm doing the yield on yield strategy, meaning my DeFi portfolio is printing me money. I'm moving that to stablecoin, so it's printing me yields. I'm moving that to stablecoin, and then I can redeploy it when markets correct, inject capital, and hit my targets quicker. The other way to do it, and actually our kind of clients, our fast track clients kind of said, hey, I just do it this way. This isn't an exact science, and that has nothing to do with, the fib, in principle. It really has nothing to do with it. It's just kind of a cheat code of a way of like, okay, instead of doing all the work and drawing out my lines and drawing out my ladder outs, they're just like, oh yeah, I just draw a fib chart and I just kind of set my ladder outs at the ladders on the Fibonacci. And that works too. And there's one little thing I want to add here is let's just say your ladder out points are here, 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 here. You may choose to sell way less at the bottom of your ladder out rungs. So you might just sell 10%, because maybe you're like, I'm almost certain Bitcoin's going to go over 50. So you may not want to sell a lot down here. Like my aggressive ladder outs have started at 70 for Bitcoin, which is why I took a lot of profit when we hit 70 here, because it kind of hit my first big sell ladder, and now I'm able to buy it back cheaper, and that accelerates my path to the number I want for that portfolio, for the 500K deposit into something else. Anywho, and you may not want to sell all of it at 80. Maybe you think that Bitcoin, is going to hit 80K this cycle, which I think it's going to hit more, and you want to leave 10%. You still want to hit your profit target, so you want to exit with 500K, but you still want to have 10% riding on Bitcoin in case it moons. That can be your little kind of gamble play, and who knows what will happen. You're still in the game. But you are never going to regret taking profit. And again, I see a lot of people, they ride it all the way up, they ride it all the way down, they ride it up, and now they think it's going to moon, so they buy even more, and then it crashes. And the poor souls never took money. I'm not going to shame you, but sometimes there's power in admitting that was me last cycle, like feeling the pain a little bit. Let me know in the comments. And what are you going to do to correct that? Are you taking profit? Are you locking in that profit? And are you jumping on opportunities when markets correct? Because imagine if you took a ton of profit here, then you were able to redeploy because it hit your ladder out. Then you took a ton of profit here, and then we started crashing, and you started dollar cost averaging into the market 2 ladders out. Again, you don't have to, it's not an exact science. Maybe it's very, very bearish and you're just sitting on your profits. You don't want to catch a falling knife, and you just wait till things level out. And imagine if you took profits, you 5x your net worth over here, and then you deployed even half of that back in the market. Well, you're going to freaking 10x your net worth yet again. Wealth is patient, yet it has a plan, and it doesn't hesitate to jump on opportunity. And I think a lot of people are still gambling. They're calling themselves investors, but they're gambling. And I'm saying that with love. Again, we can draw over some indicators, some moving averages, the RSI, and a few other indicators. They're great tools. They don't always tell the whole story. So I just like to say, I could be wrong at any moment. I want to lock in the profit when the opportunity presents itself. And then I can redeploy when the opportunity presents itself. And you're never in this kind of weird spot where you're losing a ton of net worth because your portfolio is dropping, you never took profit, and you have nothing to redeploy. Let me know if this was helpful. Let me know if you want more strategy videos like this. And also, please let me know if you want access to the podcast. This thing will blow your mind. It's 5 minutes per day, and it's meant to kind of inspire and seep into your subconscious so you can stay connected to investor talk, to crypto, to DeFi, and hopefully this podcast and this audio experience is going to be a voice of reason when most of the people in this space and most of the market is acting off emotion. It'll just be a bit of a moment where you can reconnect, slow down, and say, right. It's high-level strategies, high-level conversations around money, investing, financial freedom, creating a financial plan, mindset, and everything else in between. Plus, the whole team contributes, so you get to meet other members of the CryptoLabs team. With that said, I'm going to leave it at that. Again, let me know if you want the podcast, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.